Hey everybody, I have a great thing that I'm going to show you today in keeping in touch with your people in a better way, using the neighborhood news drip campaign inside the Moxi Engage CRM. That's what these next few minutes are going to be all about. It's a super simple thing to do, but it's a great branding piece that's providing items of value, information of value to your clients, so you can keep in touch with them without even thinking about it. It happens automatically, and that's what I'm going to show you today. You're looking on the screen right now where you've got an example of what one of these neighborhood news emails looks like. And it just basically sends your client a monthly update on the neighborhood or really the zip code that they live in. And I'll show you how you customize that inside Moxi. That's what we're going to focus on today. When you get the email or when your client gets the email, they can scroll down and see listings that are either active or recently sold in their area. And they are based on the zip code around the house that you've set them up for. And so it's showing them homes that are priced priced similarly to theirs or in the same subdivision as theirs, but really in the entire zip code is one way to think of it. You can also inside Moxi do a more detailed search if you want to narrow it down to a subdivision or draw an area on a map. I can show you that here in just a little bit too. But this is kind of what the email looks like. And there's some clickable links in here. The idea of that is then when somebody clicks on the link, we can track who's interacting with your emails or not. So there's some great analytics that I'm going to tell you guys about as we go along today too. You'll see that there's some stats like number of new listings, number of listings that have sold, whether that stat is up or down, the median prices versus the sold prices. Those are all interesting things to see. And what I mentioned is there's a clickable link. And what I'll show you now is what that link looks like when you open it up. So you click that. I've got it open in a new tab. And your client will see this. It's maybe a little bit more interactive way of engaging with this content. So you can see the same stats, but just more data, some more listings. There's a mortgage calculator in there. It puts the listings on a map. Somehow there was a glitch in this one down in Springfield. That's not where Liberty is, but somehow it showed up on the map in Springfield, even though it's in Liberty. So something went wrong there. But it's a work in progress, but it does show you some good trends, some graphs, sold price. You can click through these and see days on market, listing versus sold, active and pending listings, and just kind of see where the market is. These are all things that your clients love to know. And this would be a perfect thing to send to people that are maybe not in the immediate market, but are looking, maybe in the next couple of years. Maybe you just sold them a house, and this is going to be a great way to keep in touch. In the past, many of you that have been around with us for several years remember our My Home Compare and My Home Watch systems. And this is kind of a good way, a good replacement of that system that's kind of up with the time. So I would encourage you to use this, and I'm going to show you how to get your clients signed up for it throughout this little class today. It's got some good branding, got information for you. People can reach out to you directly from that link too. So long story short, your clients will get an email every month. They will be able to look through the stats and the data and the listings, click onto the link where they can see even more stats and data, reach out to you if they wanted to as well. Let's just mute everybody here as we go along. Let's see if I can find the button. If you're not muted, just mute yourself. Somebody's talking, but not me. Let's keep going. So every week as an agent, you are going to get a weekly report from these emails. So here's kind of what it looks like. Now, this one's pretty basic because we're kind of in the early stages of testing this, but every week you'll get a neighborhood news summary as an agent. So maybe you've got 100 people signed up for these. They all go out based on when you sign them up. So that's when they send out each month. So today we're going to sign somebody up on May 5th. They'll get the next one this time next month. And so every week there might be different number of people that are getting them. So you'll get this summary email that tells you how many people opened your neighborhood news email throughout the week, some helpful stats. When you click on the link, you can also look at other activity. This email, for instance, was one of Christian's examples. So I'll show you where you can find those stats actually inside Moxi. But if you clicked on it, it would open up and it'd show you click rates for the links, unsubscribe rates. Unfortunately, if somebody unsubscribed for your email, but more importantly, how many people are opening your email and reading the data that's in there? How many people are you providing that information to that are actually opening it and seeing it? So some good stats that this email system can provide you to. When you log into Moxi Engage, that's the CRM part, this is what your dashboard looks like. And maybe in your mind, you've got somebody that you want to send this neighborhood news update to. Those of you watching the recording, underneath my picture right now, there's a little search bar that says find people. And if you just type in one of your clients' names, like I'm going to pull up my client, Brian Lamano, who's also an agent at Lee Summit, but he's going to be my fake client for the day. But let's say I pulled up Brian's profile here. Now, I, over time, have inputted Brian's data, like his phone number, his email address, and even his home address. And so I've got all of his information in there. And because of that, now I can sign him up for neighborhood news. Really, all you need is an email address and a zip code, basically, to sign them up for neighborhood news. So you don't need all this data. But in my opinion, the more data you have on somebody inside your CRM, the better you're going to be able to interact with them. Now, down here under subscriptions, where it says add subscription, that's where you would sign up one person at a time for neighborhood news. So basically, I just search for my client, search for the contact name, pulled up their profile. I've got their email address already in Moxi. And then there's this little subscription tab that I can click on, add subscriptions. When I click on it, it brings me two options. And today, the one that we're focusing on, obviously, is neighborhood news. I just want to make note that there is an option for listing announcements. So when you take a new listing or when you close a listing, you can also, just like we do with our just listed, just sold postcards, you can send these people listing announcement based on your transaction activity. So just a good way to keep in touch with your sphere. We'll do another class on that another time. But today, the focus is the neighborhood news, and it even tells you pretty much exactly what I just told you, that it's going to send you a monthly email highlighting the market's activity. And to sign Brian up for that, I just click add subscription. Now there's two options. One of them is I can do a quick search and I can just click go and it actually pulls up Brian's zip code automatically because I've already put his home address into Moxi. And so this is kind of the intro email that Brian would receive. It only goes out once, but you can also go in and resend it if you needed to. I'll show you where to do that here in just a few minutes too. So if I was ready, I could click done. Brian would get that email and it's based on his zip code. It'll send him a monthly update based on that 64138 zip code. Now, if I wanted to go a little bit deeper, I could do a custom search, and there's lots of options, just like the search parameters inside Moxi. In this instance, it's automatically pulled in his zip code. But if I wanted to go and search based on price point or bed and bath, or many other filters that are available too, square footage and some other things, you can look through that and customize it a little bit more if you'd like to. Now, that would be helpful. Let's say if Brian lived in a zip code where homes were an average of 275,000, which he probably does, but his house was worth maybe 450,000. I don't want to send Brian a lot of comparables that are, 150 or 250 or just a lot lower than his house. So I can customize their criteria a little bit. And if you're trying to keep in touch with some of your best clients, I would encourage you to go in and do the custom method where you can do a targeted search that's a little more detailed. Your clients will probably appreciate the content. It's more valuable to them when it relates more to their lives. That's really the easiest way to do this. See how simple it was? And we're only a few minutes in class and we're done, basically. I want to show you some other quick tricks and ways to add big groups of people into one of these searches too, because there's ways to do that too. But so far, we logged into the Moxi Engage CRM. We searched for our client. Under subscriptions, we clicked add subscription, clicked onto neighborhood news, and we chose whether we wanted it just to be a zip code based search or a more custom search, whether it be price range or square footage or bedroom bath count. You can even draw on the map to create the search. So lots of options to make it more detailed. As you're narrowing searches, remember that you do want to have some content that goes to your client. So don't make your criteria so narrow that they're not going to get anything. And to be honest, the best thing that you could do is add yourself into Moxi and create one of these automatic email drip campaigns for yourself, because then at that point, you'll get to see what your clients are seeing and be able to tweak the search criteria as you go if you want to. But try it out for yourself sometime. I think you'd enjoy it. Now, what I do want to do now is go up into my people list, because maybe I've got a big group of people. Maybe it's my sphere of influence that I want to send all 100 people on that list the neighborhood news every month. And I don't want to go through every individual contact to do that. There's an easy button, an easy way to do that and get them all signed up all at one time. Under people, I'm going to go to my people. And maybe over time, you've gone to my class where I've taught you how to make labels for your groups of contacts. We're going to use that today. So if not, go back and find that video. But today I've got, 1,300 people in my contact list. And obviously I don't want to send it out to all of those people. Maybe I do, just I'm not in the mood to do that today. But what I have done is filtered out my list with some group names. Now, remember, in Google, they're called labels in your Google contacts. And in Moxi, they're called groups. If I did the programming, it would have been named the same thing, but for some reason they named them different. Who knows? Just to mess with me while I'm teaching it, I'm sure. But I've got all of my groups in Moxi, which are the same thing as the labels, over here on the right side when I click filters. And maybe I want to send it out to this group of people here that's LS agents. That just stands for my Lee Summit agents. And I can go down, I got to move my little Zoom bar, but I can click the green apply button and it'll pull the list of people up. So where now it's only the 13 people that are in my group that I've labeled there. So just like you can create labels and groups and filter out your results easy peasy. Now, let's say I wanted to send out that neighborhood news every month to all of these people. Watch with me because this is a good step to learn. All you have to do is click select all. It's going to put a checkbox in all of those people's names. Maybe I didn't want Chandler in it because I know he's already on some other drip campaign. I could uncheck him if I wanted to too, but let's keep them all in there for now. And then up here where it says add to, see where I'm circling around, I can click the little caret, the little drop down, and it's add to neighborhood news. Now it gives you two options to either quick add them or custom add them. And to be honest, if you're going to custom add them, it's going to send them all the same thing. So that might work if you have a subdivision list or people that live in a particular city. It might work that way. But to be honest, if you're sending it out in bulk like this, you probably want to click on the group option. The quick option. So when I click quick, are you ready? It's going to pop up. When you click it, it pulls up all of their zip codes automatically because I've already put their home addresses into Moxi. So it's taking their zip codes from that address, saying, hey, they probably want to know about all of these addresses or all of these zip code areas. And all I would literally have to do is click done, and it signs them up for the neighborhood news automatically. Easy peasy. I just signed 13 people up for it in about 10 seconds. Pretty simple, am I right? Once I have somebody signed up for neighborhood news, I can edit the search too, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. I'm going to go in and find myself because I do have myself signed up for neighborhood news here, and I want to show you what it'd look like if I wanted to resend something or change the criteria. There's a few ways to do that. I can scroll down and see that I do have some subscriptions signed up for this client, and one of them is neighborhood news. So I can click onto that, and you can see all of the past neighborhood news that have gone out, and that's helpful to see what they get. And when you log into your client, let's say this client calls you and you want to update some notes on their file. Well, you can look at the log and see when the last contact was from the client and what was the last thing that was sent out to them. It defaults to this activity tab. Really what I'm looking for is this details tab here. So you would just click onto that and you can see when the next date that it's going to send out the neighborhood news. And like I said, I signed myself up for this yesterday on this particular account. And so it's going to send the next one on June 4th. When I click more, I can either preview what the email is going to look like. I can edit the zip code if I wanted to go in and change. Maybe the client moved, or I wanted to change it from a zip code search to a more detailed search that I'm going to, put the criteria in. You can do that with the edit button. Maybe I wanted to resend it just because the client said that they didn't get it, or they asked me they accidentally deleted it. You can also go in and click send now, and it'll send it to them automatically. Or if you just heard that it was driving them crazy, you could also remove them from the campaign if you needed to do that. Speaking of, in these emails that are going out, there's also the way for your client to unsubscribe. And if they do that, I hate to break it to you, they've unsubscribed from all of the emails for Moxi. And so be careful that you send this to the right people at the right time, that you're not driving them crazy to where you'll never be able to email them again if they unsubscribe. Now, let's say this client maybe has a home zip code, but they also want to keep an eye on maybe their adult but still needy child that they want to help keep an eye on. Maybe the child rents the house from them and it lives in a different zip code or something like that. You can do that too. So all I would do is click add new. I could choose to do a quick search. That's the zip code search, or a custom search. That's where we put in that criteria. Every month they'll get the email, looks just like this, shows them the listings, shows them some stats. They can click on the view more listings button. When they do that, it pulls up a personalized branded website just to you. It's got all your information on it up at the top. It's also got some great stats and graphs, as well as a contact piece down at the bottom if somebody wants to reach out to you. And then as an agent, you'll always be in touch with what's going on with the neighborhood news, because it sends you a weekly summary of how many people are opening your emails, clicking onto the links, or unsubscribing. All of that is good data. Speaking of that data, the last thing I want to show you inside Moxi Engage is over here under campaigns. And we're still in the Engage CRM. We clicked onto campaigns. And the one that we've been talking about today is neighborhood news. And I just want to click onto that because that's where you'll see a lot of the stats as you go along. Maybe over time, you've got hundreds of people signed up for this. It's useful to go in and make sure that your marketing is effective on occasion. And you can do that with these stats. So it gives you the exact number of people that are, for one thing, getting the email, but how many of those are opening it. It gives you a percentage of how many people are opening it too. How many people are clicking onto that link every month, and then how many are unsubscribing. You'll get all of the activity down here. If somebody does unsubscribe or click the link, you can see that I clicked the link here yesterday at 11:18 a.m. So it's very detailed data that helps you to evaluate your marketing and how effective it's being. So great stats as you go along. We got to all of this by logging into Moxi. You can log into Moxi real simple through your Okta single sign-on. You just log in with your Kansas City Homes email by going to kchagent.com. When you do, you log in, and then you can click this Moxi icon. It'll open up your Moxi dashboard. That's where you click Engage, and then you get to all the stuff that I showed you today, either under by searching for people, under your people list, and then seeing these stats under campaigns and then neighborhood news. Hey, that's really it. What a great branded, customized, perfect item of value to send to your clients to keep in touch with them. And you don't even have to think about it. Now, it's not the only way you'd want to keep in touch with your clients, right? That's why we continue to do pop buys and call them on a quarterly basis and do their portfolio reviews twice a year and send them a mail campaign. All of those things combined are what make you a great marketable agent and keep you top of mind. That's the idea as an agent, is you want to be the agent that people are thinking of when they think of real estate. And this campaign helps you to do that. So hope you use it and love it. Appreciate you tuning in today, especially those of you that are live and watching the recording. Thanks for being here. And if you ever have any questions, you can email us at moxihelp@kansascityhomes.com. It goes to a whole team of us. We're here to help you and make sure that we're answering your questions in the best way that we can. But appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.